Welcome to Coach Connects. Coach Connects is an umbrella programme for Irish cricket coaches, providing opportunities for qualified coaches and non-coaches alike to share knowledge, network, participate in training and to learn from some of the best coaches in cricket. This is our coach discussions piece, where we give coaches the platform to share their story. You'll hear from coaches, giving insights on coaching from different sporting codes that will help you in your coaching journey. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Stephen Maxwell, and this week our special guest is David Bordes from Cricket Scotland. David, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm quite happy to be with you today.
Thank you very much. So just to start, David, would you share with the audience, for those who do not know you, who is David?
It's a good question. I'm not sure I found already. I'm David Bordes. I'm from France. Now I'm the workforce development manager for Cricket Scotland for 3 years now. So in charge to create a new coach development, helping official and scorers. But who is David Bordes? That is a great question. Used to play for France national team in cricket, and I'm a former national level player in athletics, tennis, and basketball. And I started my coaching career without wanting to do that. I've been asked to do that, and I give a go. I enjoy that. So yeah, and it's 22 years now. I'm involved on coaching cricket.
Wow, so that's a great journey, David. 22 years in coaching, brilliant. And then obviously it's not just cricket. So you've worked in different sports. That's brilliant to know. In terms of coaching, what does coaching mean to you? What is it?
Oh, it's a massive question. Do you have 3 hours for that? I think roughly is you're the person who will inspire and develop another person. I think is where, and it's like a promotion. Also, you promote your sport, even if it's not only school, but even a club. If someone is good, if you're good to inspire him and support him to develop this person, it's a nice promotion to your sport. So you're the pillar of any development. So coaching philosophy is just make sure everybody's the best version of themselves.
Brilliant. So you've already brought up the word philosophy. So in terms of your coaching philosophy, is that what you believe? Or, so obviously you're coaching for 22 years. Has your philosophy changed over time?
It changed. I think it changed a lot. I used to start being asked for coaching the youth national French teams that were more on techniques and everything. And that changed through the year, I think, through experience and going with gray hairs, you change. But I think I'm more focusing on a person and not on a player. I used to be more on the player and just thinking what I play on a content, on a moment, a tea time. And I think now it's more on a person, and can I help this person to develop a great person? In cricket, it could be cricket or living and everything, but outside cricket as well, I think it's great to be, it's important. We're a role model for developing a citizen, if I can say that. So yeah, it's for me, everyone is different. And if we're not creative and curious and we don't know the person in front, we struggle. So I like to learn from people. I think
that's brilliant. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. And let's be honest, learning about different people's behaviors, it helps us get to get inside their heads and help to develop them quicker. That's brilliant, David. So our coach discussion show is about coaches sharing their journey or sharing your coaching story. So I ask you, David, why do you coach?
Why? Good question. As I said, I've been asked to start my coaching journey, so I didn't want. I just said, okay, and I wanted to pass everything I learn or experience or enjoy to the next generation. But now I think I don't want to stop coaching or tutoring, because it's great to see people. If you allow me an analogy, it's like flower. If they bloom, if you can have someone who can bloom, I think it's great. And it's what I like, just make people happy, living, training or courses happy. So it's what I think. I want make people happy, enjoying what they do.
That's fantastic. And obviously you've been an international player. You've been coaching for 22 years. What is your biggest learning experience across that time?
Don't take anything for granted, we said. And I was lucky, as I said, to do other sport. And in athletics, I was in long jump. So it was some similarity for me with long jump and bowler run up. So I think for me, it's quite important. Well, just look outside your box, or even sometimes we can see, don't think there is a box. Don't think you have no box, and just go everywhere. I don't think we should stay in cricket. Only just put your eyes everywhere and learn. I think is my things. Have a look what happened in other sport and anything, even on the business, how we develop people. I think is key. It's not only on techniques, because I'm a real believer. Tactics should be before techniques. Because if we do tactics first, we develop different type of player. You find if you need 20 and over, you can hit over longer or behind, but you decide on a 360. If we go on the techniques, we develop on forward hitting over longer, no longer off only. So we constrain some player to develop at their best. So doing tactics, people find their own way to achieve the tactics or the game plan. So
that's some great insights there, David. Thank you for sharing. So you've mentioned the long jump in terms of bowling. So you've also mentioned basketball, tennis, and athletics. So have you taken anything from them and brought into your cricket coaching? And if so, could you share?
Yeah, I think personally, I think the peripheral vision, see 100 degrees. Basketball was key. I was a guard, so you were obliged to have a look everywhere, I think. And I think these tactics, and if you think about maybe except athletics, basketball and tennis is quite tactical sport. And I think this idea of tactics and just find the solution. I think I'm the best example just to say you don't need to be 2 meters to play basketball and do national finals, but just focus on the person, know on what you want. Just say, be active. I think what I like in basketball, when you were 17, you needed to coach or referee under 13, 19, you were under. So just this broader aspect of your sport, not only coaching or playing, it's just scoring, empowering. So I think just be a full all-rounder. If I use cricket terms, you have to be an all-rounder, not only good on one. I think is what I would take. Just be a full package.
That's brilliant. And obviously, you're a coach tutor nowadays. So when you're tutoring, are you very open with your coaches and you're asking them, get outside your cricket box and go and encourage them to work in other sports or learn from other sports?
Yeah, and I'm lucky because in Scotland we have great tutors, and some of them are even tutoring on ECB level 3. But what I said, I'm just focusing on the learner outcome, what they want, what they have to take away, and after you have to deliver with your own style. I don't want just to do a frame for everyone. I'm just focusing for interactivity and empowering, because for me, it's like coaching but tutoring. I cannot help you as a new coach if I don't know who you are and how you learn and what your background. So when I know you, I can just deliver the perfect stuff for you, or perfect, a big word, but just try to be relevant to your need.
Brilliant, brilliant. And so let's take you back to your younger days, your teenage years. Did you want to be a professional player? Did you want to be a coach? Where did you see yourself going?
Oh, teenage time, I wanted to be a basketball player because my idol role model was Magic Johnson. So I wanted to be a basketball player. But I realized to play NBA when you're not 2 meters is tough. So, yeah, no, and I was on every other sport, so I needed to focus. Didn't focus on only one, so 3 at the same time. So it was 28 hours a week doing sport. But yeah, I didn't think about coaching. I said I don't think I was a bit shy and quite a reserved person. So coaching wasn't for me. I was just happy just to play, and I think when I was 14, 17, didn't just foresee me in 25 or so 30 years. I didn't see. I was just playing the time. Maybe carpe diem. I think the Dead Poet Society was my philosophy. Just enjoy your day and don't just see too far.
Brilliant. And then when did it turn? So obviously playing international cricket. So when was the moment you thought, okay, I can coach, I want to coach? When did that moment happen?
I think it's not only one moment, but the first part was what I want to ECB level 2 coaching course, and I've been certified with a good pass. I said, oh, it's in English, I can have a good pass and doing well, I enjoy. And I think it will be my first time, because straight away I was thrown in the arena, and he was coaching the national under 16 team. And I really enjoyed spending time with a player, and just because obviously it was national team, we could have more deeper in techniques or tactics and stuff like that. So I really enjoy this interactivity. And I think is why I just said, okay, yeah, and people enjoy. And if I think people enjoy and ask you a question, you enjoy. And if you have result after, is so yeah, it was this time. It was a very last minute notice, I would say.
Very good. And obviously, having played the game to a high level, do you feel that helps you to be a better coach? Or is it that, anybody who's interested in coaching can get to a high level in coaching, whether you've played the game or not? Where do you sit on that fence?
Yeah, I think is your inner drive. I think if you play at the highest level, and I just play for France, I didn't play against Ireland and Scotland, but I play against Holland and Holland B only. But I think he helped you understand one part, because he's a bigger spectrum coach and the game, but it's one part. But if you're the best player, it doesn't mean you know how to pass the information. And I think he helped for observation. You observe quicker, you analyze quicker stuff, maybe. But I don't think you need to be there. I think we have great example like Arsene Wenger. Nobody reminds him as a player, but he's a great coach. And I think it's you need to discover who you are and where are your strengths, and just observing, analyzing is my strengths. So it's where I think I'm quick to pick. But some people have other strengths. But I think you need to know who you are and whatever your background. And people from another sport could be great coach, even at the elite level in cricket, not obliged to be there. If you have a teacher or coaching Paul Sterling, if we're in Ireland, you don't talk about technique and tactic with him. He knows that, but you just help him to be the better person. I think playing higher level, it will be helping the psychological aspect. If you see what I mean, it's just understanding this pressure stuff. If you haven't played this level, you don't understand maybe the pressure, but it means you're coaching at the highest level. But if you take a generic word of coach, any background will help. If you need to care about people and be curious. For me,
that's brilliant. And not to put you in a box or anything, just from listening to you, it's screaming inside, David is a person-centered coach rather than a player-centered coach, and that's great to hear. So in terms of, like, you've talked about learning and doing different courses, okay, so where do you learn currently? So obviously we do have our tutor education courses, we have our refresher courses, CPD, but where else do you go and learn in terms of what you want to show your players?
I think for me, every day is a learning day, and I learn from talking to my wife or my kids for anything. And it could be a bit crazy, but every time someone talks to me, I just have an analytic process in my brain for anything. Oh, I can use that. I can use that for anything. Even watching something on TV, would be great. Just, as I say, person-centered, just I can process. But if not, I like to go not too much on social media, because sometimes you find everything and nothing, but some are good. And growing in southwest of France, where rugby is crazy, I like to listen to rugby coaches, because I think they have a great philosophy. So it's just basketball, rugby. Now I discover curling or obviously other sport like hockey. We don't have a lot in France. In southwest of France, we have only 2 clubs for 500 kilometers away. So we're discovering other sport and see how they approach, what they do. And I think it's every opportunity to learn is great for me. So nothing fixed or specific. Everything is my learning.
Brilliant. And then in terms of your work that you do, so you're the workforce development manager within Cricket Scotland. Would you mind elaborating a little bit about what you do on a daily basis?
It's what I like with doing this one of coaching. Every day is different. So yeah, mainly I'm in charge just to try to put a framework on on a coaching journey. Obviously, COVID didn't help, so we're working and doing all stuff. I just try to realize our coaches, when you go on your any course, it's just one thing, but you learn by doing everything else, networking, CPDs, or sharing, or self-reflecting your practice, and just try to have more. We're working hard on developing more CPDs or CDW, coach development workshops, just to help them to develop, because on a course it's just one thing, but it doesn't mean you're good. But I want them to develop throughout their journey. As if you do your level 2 this year, in 4 years time you won't be the same. So how we can you still as a level 2, but with your 4 years experience as a coach is what I want. So it's like a baby. It just, the birth was last year, post COVID. So now we just try to go year by year how we can develop and bring people on our journey.
Fantastic. And obviously you worked with Cricket France for an awful long time, and now you're with Cricket Scotland. So what are the main differences between both? And then where do you see the growth of coaching cricket in Scotland going? How far do you think we can go?
If I start with your last point, I think Scotland, I'm quite impressed. We have great coaches on person-centered, great skill, experience. I think we can obviously in terms of number of events, but in terms of quality, we can match England. Italy, we have people, but I think it's like people don't notice their skills here, and it's easiest, to change person. As you know, it can take ages, but we need to make sure, okay, you can do that. We don't need to call ECB. You can do on your own. You have the skills. We have people who play first class in England. We have people who play World Cups. We have people who are working with school. We have PE teachers. We have cricketers who are PE teachers. So we cover so many aspects, but we just need to bring people on the table, if I can say that. And it's a bright future, but we have to make sure we put everybody we need and the right competency on track to achieve that. And if you're right, you say difference between France cricket and Cricket Scotland is night and day. We said, obviously, I was the only technical person in France. We have one development officer and one admin person, and the size of France. So it was massive, and nothing that exists. I was the first employee for France Cricket, so I needed to create template for admin, template for supporting clubs. So any funding, anything. I needed to create the coaching content, because in France it's a bit specific. You need to have a French one, and to be paid, you need to have the state one with a 1,200-hour course over 18 months. So we needed to create this one, the 3 levels, and we did create the performance pathway. We call that a fast track program. Just take the best under 15, under 19. We bring them to the senior team, and I created the woman program and stuff like that. So it was just more creativity, just create everything. So it was great, but you reach a level where you were on your own, and we could have the resource. Even if you have a volunteer, were fantastic, but we have a level. We didn't have these human resources we have in Cricket Ireland or Cricket Scotland. So we were touching the roof quickly, and we could be, if I just quickly mention, I developed one of my projects was developing a partnership with primary school sport federation. We touch 12 million children and 800,000 teachers, but I was delivering on my own. So when you have 96 counties in France, it's tough. So we reached 43 counties, but the key thing for me was, I mentioned before, we needed to focus on how we can train their tutors, because I cannot deliver everything. So we're focusing on delivering to the county tutors, and after they went to the school, because obviously you cannot touch with 36,000 tons in France. You cannot do all schools. So we're just and it was one proud but frustration at the same time, because we were there. It was the next step. So we needed 43 development officer to make it happen on a more sustainable base, if I can say. So you see, it was just the first step of the ladder. And here in Scotland, we're already on a 10th floor. But now how we can just make sure we go on a roof, on a penthouse.
Fantastic. And obviously you mentioned female cricketers, obviously in France there as well. And obviously women's cricket in Scotland is growing all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, how do you encourage more of those players to get into coaching then in Scotland? Because obviously in Ireland we have some fantastic female athletes across different sports, and we have an awful lot of them coming across into coaching, but we want to continue that and we want to grow the numbers as well. So how are you doing that in Scotland at the moment?
I try to collaborate with our women and girls development manager, and it's very. They play for years. Scotland based when I arrived 3 years ago, we couldn't have a regional under 18 teams and a club competition at the same time because clubs struggle. So now we can have clubs, regional under 18, and even regional senior women play at the same time, which is fantastic in 3 years. But I think we still, if I compare female cricket here, it's like the cricket in France. We just, at the beginning, we have some great person who will become great coaches, but I think we need 2, 3, 4 years just to achieve that. We're just starting this process, and not only us process, but player, because they discover the game or they fully committed to playing. We need a few more years. We can have this transition from coaching.
Brilliant, brilliant. And then in terms of any young coach trying to come through the system, would you have any tips or recommendations for them to help get as much experience as possible and help get them to the next level in terms of their coaching?
I think one of my stand for is, if you don't try, you don't know. So you need to try. As I said earlier, if you don't know who you are as a coach, it can take years. It's difficult just to be there, but I think just don't feel shy to ask. As we hear that on every course and everything. It's no stupid question, but yeah, ask. And one thing, because I'm more self-reflector, open your eyes, observe, and just try to record with your eye everything you see, because everything can give you a tip for something else for you. So just be open to see what happened, any level, any sport, and just be, as I said, be curious in a good sense. Just try to see what happened. Open every door. Don't think you know everything, because for me, if you think we know everything, we're dead as a coach. We have to make sure we want to evolve, because tomorrow I won't be the same person than today. Fantastic. As a coach. So yeah.
Brilliant. And then in terms of coaching resources, I would say I'm fairly active on Twitter, and I know you're very active on Twitter, and it's a great resource for coaches. Is there anybody you'd recommend for coaches to follow in terms of cricket coaching or learning?
I think what COVID brought for me was just the coach think about themselves. Now coaches think about themselves. I think one I like is called the Inner Drive Sports Psycho on Twitter. I can share with you the link. I like, because he's thinking about you as a coach, because if we develop us as a coach, is this one. And I don't go too much on their Twitter, but Better Balance from Sport New Zealand is a good one. Recently they talk about self-determination as a player, what your coaching philosophy and stuff like that. I think it's great, because sometimes I think pre-COVID we're thinking about what we do as a session instead of what we do for us. Just make sure people enjoy more the session, and I think it's one. And just maybe trust. It's not a lot. It's just trust. But what else we can have? And if you about kids, the I Coach Kids World stuff are great as well, and everything. But I think I don't like to recommend too much, because it works for me. I don't know if it works for you or for your coaches. So just see what you like, what you want to learn, and look, and we have some of them. I'm happy to share more if you have specific need. But yeah, I think it's more tips for you as a coach more than anything else.
Fantastic. And everything you've mentioned there, David, I'll put on the end of the podcast for all coaches to check. Yeah. Just before we wrap up, so workforce development manager in Cricket Scotland. Cricket is consistently growing in Cricket Scotland. Where do you see coach education and coaching in Scotland in 5 years' time or 10 years' time? Where do you want it to go?
Wow. Maybe, well, how I can describe, I think now workforce development is linked to development, but I think for me that is a full department, and I think in 5 years time we'll have tutors, we'll have regional tutors, so we'll have a team with regional rep, is what I see, with 2 or 3 people nationally. We don't think we need a lot people nationally, one lead and maybe some admin. I guess we need regional team just to be next door to our coaches. We're limited yet because if I run, I'm limited because obviously 130 or 40 club we have. It's quite tough to do that. It will be every 3 days. I will be away with one club, so it's a bit tough. But if we have regional rep and team, I think it's a regional network for me, or even more local. But if we have this one, is what I see with regional 5-6 regional teams with some rep for performance or school or Stella, 2-3 person per region will be the dream.
Fantastic. And then in terms of David the person, where will you be in your coaching career in the next 5 years? Where would you like to be?
Very good question. Do you mean physically or just in terms of coach?
Physically level of coach. Do you see yourself retiring from coaching anytime soon, or do you want to work at the international stage?
Yeah, I've done coaching at national level for the last 4 years, so yeah, could be something. But I think in my brain I'm still 20 sometimes, so I'm still university time. So I don't think I want to retire too much. Maybe when I will see my kids married, I will say, okay, now, wow, I'm old, but they're 13 and 9, so I have a bit of time in front of me. In 5 years time, I think if I enjoy, I think now I'm in a stage I want to enjoy what I do. So if I are still enjoying, I will be there. If it's in a 6 month time or a year or 4 years time, I'm just fed up with what I do, I think I want to move to something else. But if I enjoy what I do, I'm happy in 4 years time. We like Edinburgh City, is fantastic. After 10 years in Paris, it's just a massive contrast. So kids enjoy being there. So for the moment, I don't just see where I'm in 5 years time. I want just to see what the project is and see what I bring project to life. Is what I see. But here I'm happy because, as you said, we're on the crossroad, Cricket Scotland, like Cricket Ireland. We could be in a World Cup in semi-finals, and we can have every school in Scotland, so we can have 10,000 coaches in 5 years time. So it will be it will be another job in the same time doing something differently. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do too far. I used to think about everything in advance, my time in France, because we need to create everything, and it puts frustration. So I just want to enjoy now.
That's fantastic. And having spoken to you for the last hour or so, David, Cricket Scotland, the future is bright. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your journey with Coach Connects. Really appreciate it, David. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. See you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's coach discussion. If you would like to share your coaching journey, log on to cricketprograms.com/Coach Connects and sign up today. Here are the social media recommendations discussed in today's coach discussion. Why not check them out and add to your coaching toolbox?